Hey guys, so I have a reading here on a bit of a dark subject, but I realize like when I read Twitter and everything, like everyone's asking these questions. So it's just kind of, the question is sort of like being forced into our psyches where I have to ask ourselves right now. Well, the question I had was really about Trump. Is he, okay, so we know that they want everyone to get back to work. They don't want to, they're not forcing any kind of testing. They don't want to, I guess it's sort of state by state, but there's no regulation, federal regulation that demands, like that you do everything you can to protect workers and that sort of thing. It's like if you want. So like, I don't really see any other outcome except that we're going to have another wave of this. And I just have to ask myself, like, do they, especially, well, yeah, Republicans seem to really, and their base seem to kind of want everyone to just get it and just like lose whatever that 3% of the population is, just like let it happen and let them die. And then we move on with life or something. When it really doesn't have to be that way. And how incredibly, like, insensitive and murderous, or at least just so awful. And like I even, I go so far as to wonder, when you think of the people who are more susceptible to dying from this, and yeah, I know there are also young people who will suddenly die. These are people also, usually if you're young and you die from this, have some kind of pre-existing condition, or something that you just didn't even know was there. And I'm like, so retired people, elderly people, lower income people who tend to, they have to get on the bus and go to work, or they, live in closer quarters. They don't have like sprawling, yards between neighbors and all that. And then people who have conditions. So those are the categories of people most likely to die from this. And like, I just get this sick feeling, and I wonder, like, does the GOP or whoever is behind, this sort of push to get everybody back to work, like, do they see an advantage to losing people in these populations? I mean, these are people that we already know are fighting all the time to get rid of, having to give health care, Medicare, whatever it is that seniors get, Social Security, and also people who can't be workers for their big companies. Sometimes, I really think that they see humans as just like, can you work or can you not work? And if you can't work, then you're useless to us. And, why should we try to make you live? So anyway, my question was with Trump, is it for him, is he like, is that where his head is? Is that what the goal is? Is that what the plan is? Is he thinking like that? Or is he just simply magical thinking, which I also think is very possible for Trump to just be. Well, and anyway, that is actually what I got for Trump, but there's more, I think, beneath the surface. So I'll get to it. Here we are with the Hermit upside down. So this would be, this would be us staying in. And then, so this is representing the, hurry up and stop quarantining, like hurry up and get back to the streets, get back to business, get back to his economy. Covered by the Ace of Cups, I see this as an emotional choice by Trump. And I'm not like trying to say Trump's like not evil or something, but I do think he is driven by, and and we see at the surface here would be the economy, wanting to get the economy back is what he wants. And it's an emotional reason. I see very much like the Ace of Cups can be like this overflowing love. He wants everyone to love him again, which he thinks was tied to this economy, which, by the way, he did get from Obama. I mean, the economy was already on its trajectory, and Trump has just, I mean, managed to not ruin it. I mean, now things are not going so well. So yeah, so that's all there. Yeah, so I'm like, okay. So he just wants that. Like, I almost am feeling like he doesn't have the cunning or the depth to, like, it's just an ego fix. He just wants to get back to that, the good times that he was having at his rallies and that sort of thing, where he had his little brag and or not everyone was pleased with him, but the people he cares about were pleased with him. So I feel like that's where he's coming from. Yeah, so in the past, the emperor, he wants to get back to that sort of feeling of being this all-commanding emperor, that he feels like and the fact that this is in the past, I do feel like he has a fear of sort of like losing his sort of power in all of this. It's like slipping away. The love and the power, it's slipping away, going into the past. And he wants that back, so that's part of the reason. And then the son here is that here we're all going to be going out there and exposing ourselves, or those who really, again, especially the lower income people, having to be more, get out there and go work at the restaurants and get more in the plants and get exposed to this virus. So that's coming again. This I found interesting at the base, this Queen of Swords. I've brought up, so basically I would see this as like, who's really the idea person, and that swords would be like more of a knower. And I'm like, this person does think that dark, bad way that I was talking about. Trump, I'm not saying he's not capable of it, but he feels like very simple to me, at least now more than ever. I don't know if he's growing more simple. He obviously is growing more childish, with all the ways that he's just not well, mentally, and all these other ways. He just seems like he's getting more and more basic and childish. But this person at the base, I believe, would be definitely capable of thinking that way about who's at risk, and does she or her type care. So this would be like the donors, the billionaire donor base down here, who make more of his decisions than we realize. I also do think that they are aligned with like the whole, Russian propaganda. Everything that happened in that election is tied to this. There are like those behind Breitbart. So that sort of, and that would be the Mercer family, is just the only one we know of. I don't know if there are more, but perhaps this Queen of Swords is representing that Rebecca Mercer. I don't know. I always feel like I have to like whisper her name, like I'm scared. But that's, yeah. So, and I also, I meant to read up on this so that I'm not, I'm obviously not reporting news here, just things I see and read about. And I think that the Facebook groups that got people motivated to go out in March, right? And I believe, I thought I saw that in this spread somewhere. Oh yeah, it comes up. But I have more cards here. So yeah, behind the Facebook groups who got people to go out in March, that's a big part of why they, like, at least in the, even though really in these giant cities, there's like 200 people who came out, but it's still alarming. And yeah, it gets covered. You see pictures and you go, how is this possible that all these people don't care and are just being so crass and thoughtless? But that is a big part of why now they feel like they can justify, like they got their big groups out there. They got the pictures. They got the, America feeling like there's a whole nother side to America that wants to get back to work. It's just like this, such a sinister plan, and it has worked, but I do think it's going to backfire. I don't know what they think with, like, Trump's, still, I just feel like he just wants that immediate gratification. I'm a king again and everybody loves me. even though that was never the case. He just feels that because he feels it slipping away. But I think a lot of other things are slipping away for him. So anyway, yeah. So yeah, I do feel like there's more sinister and like, yeah, dark things beneath that are pushing this forward. Here, yeah, we have the government. Yeah, I feel I did this yesterday, which is when they sort of made, yeah, this is the government. They're making their announcements. So that I think it's just representing that. I don't know that there's much. Let me just sit with this for a second. Yeah, they're just like making their statements and they're starting this process. Hopes and fears. Oh yeah. So this I saw as I remember the last few days and other people on Twitter, I'm not the only one saying this, but sort of like their god is the economy, and we all have to serve the economy. The economy. Some people are like, this feels like human sacrifice for the economy. So that is definitely what I feel like this card is representing in this spread. So yeah, it's the hope and the fear. It's the hope for some and the fear of others, and just this sick sort of serving of the economy over human life. And then long term, I think this is those of us trying to still fight off the illness in our own way. When you've got, you've got people now, there's just stories every day, people just sort of getting attacked just for wearing a mask. Like it's offends people if you're trying to wear a mask or keep social distancing. It's just so awful what they're doing. And it's all from like these people in like these rallies, and they're just getting people riled up and confused so they can serve their economy. And, let's see, the reading was on Trump. So, I think he'll also be having to, it's going to be hard for him to stand his ground. There's going to be a lot of problems from all this added exposure, and it's all going to be coming after him. He's still going to be trying to hold his ground. At the base, at this point, I did see this Three of Cups. And this is where I thought I saw, like, this is where I felt like the protests were coming up in the read, which were, planned and executed by the far right, like more wealthy, like sort of think tanks putting out these Facebook groups and getting people involved so that they come out and march. And this card, it's like getting together with friends. Isn't this fun? It's like there's not going to be that social distancing. And the selfishness of, yeah, I understand we might miss our friends, but, it's like we're at a very high level of daily deaths. This thing's not over. And then I did some clarifiers on this because I wanted to know, okay, so let's say here we have Trump fighting off bad news. What else? And I get these two cards. So I see Trump these are really, really bad cards for Trump. I see he might be, wanting to leave. And this card, this Ten of Swords, would be the end. And look at all so we've got a Six of Swords and a Ten of Swords. So possibly, and I know that like it's kind of too hard to believe that, but this could be the end of him and he could have to leave. That's what the cards are saying. That's what the cards are saying here. All of these cards are saying this decision he's making right now is going to really come back and get him bad. And I also think on another level, because I remember first I was saying this is us fighting off the illness, like trying to keep our social distancing and saying, stay away from me, please, to people who are not respecting that. And, this I almost see as like it's going to come back. I know there are some states where it's finally starting to go away, like New York, but with if we don't continue to respect the social distancing and like take precautions with testing, it's going to come back and more people are going to die. And then, oh yeah, so then I looked at the bottom of the deck again and I see, I mean, I do see this stuff for Trump. You know, and I know this was like a negative outlook, but I mean, I think we all know what's going to come if we're not taking these precautions. But I do think this is also coming for Trump. So, you know, it's not just coming for us, that for him also. He's just this dummy on the surface, trying to make, I say trying to make people happy. He's not, not like in a good-hearted way, but in an egotistical way so that he can like be celebrated somehow. But he's not, I don't see him as being very cunning or smart. He's just magical thinking, and these people might have some worse ways of thinking. And then, yeah, so then again, more cards that I got beneath the deck. So this, again, being a, loss, but it's upside down. I mean, which tells me there should be no surprise to the loss that's coming. But also, I think if Trump is magical thinking, he doesn't realize the loss that's coming to him and the heartache that's coming to him. And then the Empress there at the way bottom, this is, I think this is America. We're going to be the ones who are going to make him feel the loss. Like here she is underneath. And that feels strong and positive. And, it's too bad that all of this has to happen in order for us to see everyone's true colors right now. But America will come back, and America will bring the justice that needs to be brought. So that's my read on that. Thank you for watching. Let me know if you had any thoughts in the comments below. And thanks for being here. I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.